Engineering and Controller of Examinations in Osmania University. Dr. Sriram research areas of interest are additive manufacturing, bulk solids handling, design.
Sir, sir.
Yeah, already introduced now,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, sir. Okay. Already, Professor Sriram Venkateswaran sir, already he's a professor in Department of Mechanical Engineering. Now he is going to start the session.
So, are you able to see this PPT?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me complete now. Just few slides are there. After that, we will show the direct live show of live demo on SLS, SLA, SLM. Okay. So I already given some insight to this SLS, SLM, selective laser melting, selective laser sintering. So the SLS is the selective laser sintering process. It is the system imported from Germany. And the model name is called Farmiga. And the working principles must be taught in the previous sessions. But instead of wasting time in that, I will show the directly SLS system. Similarly, selective laser melting. So recently, less than a year, we have procured the system from Germany again. This also selective laser melting SLM 280 model, and other technologies called PolyJet, Stratasys Object 30 Pro is the model name. The PolyJet is the technology, and the company name called Stratasys. So under powder based we touch 2, and under liquid based 1. So total 3. So it may take the maybe 1.5 hours each of maybe PolyJet may not take time, but the SLM, SLS is very important, and that will take time. And in between, our research calls also assist in giving the inputs to the participants. Okay. So this is the SLS technology, selective laser sintering, and it is a CO2 laser, 30 watt power, and this is a system you are going to see now. And power is 30 watts, and the model is Farmiga P100 and imported from Germany. The maximum build size of this system is 200 by 250 by 330. That means X, Y, G directions. X is 200, Y is 250, G is 330. And the maximum, the laser diameter is 0.5 mm, and the beam focused diameter is 0.4 mm approximately, which is also equal to the laser beam diameter. So it emits some sound around 42 decibels. Sound will be emitted through this. So okay, all this I'm skipping. Instead of that, I will go to after completing these two, we will directly take you to the machine and through videograph will show. So the parts produced from this SLS are good quality and wide range of processing materials in this. So no part supports are required because the loose part surrounded by the part itself acts as the self-supporting. So this is the unique property of selective laser sintering, the two plastic machine. So little post-processing required except the blasting, air blasting. So nothing is required. No post-curing required, and advanced software is also used to find out the accuracy of the part. Who is talking? So disadvantage of the SLS is a large physical size of the unit, like Almara, like with Almara, like that much is required. High power consumption and poor surface finish. But anyway, in spite of these, we cannot say disadvantage, or we can say limitations. And in spite of this, no, we use these machines extensively. Right from 2008, we are using, and a lot of MTech students, PhD students have completed their projects, including the Dr. Manamadacharya also did on this machine for his MTech project. So applications includes concept models, functional, and patterns for castings and metal tools. So machine capabilities like minimum layer thickness is 0.1 mm. So only thing is we don't have to control, over the minimum layer thickness, that is 0.1. We cannot increase and we cannot decrease. So it's a fixed one. And the minimum wall thickness that can be built is 0.4 to 0.5 mm because the laser beam diameter itself is 0.5. That's why we cannot build less than this. The properties are almost same in all the X, Y, D directions, and the surface finish we are going to get in the order of 10 microns. Degree centigrade. 100 degrees centigrade. Okay. Degree. Like this. Okay, I will learn next. So actually, this operating temperature is we can use these components produced from SLS directly as functional components. Only the limitation is instead of normal temperature, no, it will be 100 degrees centigrade. That means that since it's the plastic, so we can use the functional prototypes or components produced from this machine only up to water pen. So this was not necessary because already taught. Okay. Yeah. So this is a machine actually, what we're going to see. And side by there is a display system, LED, and that is zoomed here, and all the operations right from the beginning to ending, each and every layer can be viewed here, and the time taken to complete the process also will be seen, and which layer is building also we can see, all like simulation. Okay. So this is actually inside the bin, inside the machine, and after completing the building, we eject by keeping the bin over here, we eject cake up so that we search for the components, and the powder will be poured here, and then it will be clean. So after that, no, reused powder also can be used here to mix thoroughly. And sometimes we use old powder and new powder together. So like 50-50 or 70-30. So new power 70, old power 30, like that we use. So after using, mixing the powder, we need to mix it thoroughly, and we have to keep it allow to discharge the static electricity obtained during the mixing. So these are already we have seen. So in my presentation, we have seen all this. Next, SLM. So going to the SLM, selective laser melting. Next. Yeah. So this is actually a machine what we have shown yesterday. Right now it is loaded with aluminum alloy, and it is a building process also you can see. And then this is the chiller. This is the powder sieving machine, and this is the vacuum cleaner. Okay. So materials that can be handled also I have shown, and these are the materials. And out of this now, presently what we are building, stainless steel already built earlier, and the titanium also built. Now the aluminum alloy, for one of the research scholar, we are building the samples for UTM, universal testing machine. We are building, and that building is underway. It is building. So building is underway. We will show the building process and each and every part physically. So these are all same. So Polyjet also explained. This is a machine actually, Polyjet, and instead of showing now directly what is the use of it. I will go through the each and every machine, and we'll start here, starting with SLS, selective laser sintering.
I'm audible?
Yes, sir. You're audible, sir.
Yes,
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we are now అన్ని ఎక్కువ చూపించకు, దాన్ని చూపించు. ఒక్కసారి చూపించేసి నన్ను ఒకసారి. Now just let me confirm whether a video is coming.
Yes, sir. It is coming.
Video is coming, no?
Yeah.
It is coming, no? Very good. So now, just now, we are standing in front of the rapid prototype system of the SLS, selective
Hello,
laser
sir?
sintering.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah.
Sir, please
Yeah.
shut down the PPD, then only video will be visible.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I will shut down. I will stop sharing.
Yes.
Is it okay?
Yeah, okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah, very good.
Now it's okay, sir. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
So we are standing in front of the SLS sintering machine, SLS. It is the Farmiga P100 machine. Farmiga is the what you call the model name. P for plastic, and again their name, that is P for Farmiga P100 machine. It is imported from EOS, Electro Optic Systems, Germany. So it is a 3D printing versatile and state-of-art 3D printing machine, which is imported in the year 2008 from Germany, Munich. So this is the display system. This is display system where you can view all the operations. So for example, if I am showing building task, so you can load some building task, so no name like, and I'm loading the building task, and after that, the building task has been successfully loaded. That means there are so many building tasks are there to be printed. So just I am loading one of the building tasks with some name. Otherwise, we can use which one is good here. Merge file here. PM. What is that? Prosthetic hands. Where is the prosthetic hands? We'll show. So I'm just loading prosthetic hand, which I have shown in my lecture. So 2 hands are built and the building process. Okay. And after loading the prosthetic hand, and it is showing that now it will take 14.16.49 hours, remaining the same thing. As the process progresses, the percentage of the completion will be displayed here. And the height, so total height is 260.4 mm. This is the total height. And maximum height is this, bin is this much. And the white color dotted one is the height of the component. And then if you see the layer, 0 layer, first layer, second layer, like that, the layer upon layer will be built up. See 14 layer, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So it started, layers are started now. And suppose if you go on increasing the number of layers, you can see like this. So like this now, the cross sections of each layer, the cross section of the component of each layer is displayed here. This is 717 layer. So like that, no, how many layers are there also we can see. So how many are 2000, 3000, 4000 like that? How many layers are there? We can see. See, still it is there. 1587 layers are there. So while building, it will show which layer is building, and this is set up, and we can move the reporter manually left and right. After closing, we cannot move, but since it is not in running, then we can move reporter left and right. This is called reporter, and then this is preheating icon. So it takes around 1.5 hours to 2 hours preheating, and this is a building task already we have seen. Thank you. Yeah, now it is done. So these are the building tasks already we have seen, and parameters. So we can change parameters like material. Now it is showing material. So PA 2200, and we can suppose if you want to change the material, there is alumina is there. Alumini, PA 2200, PA 3200 GF means glass film and paper. So like this materials are there. So prime cast, prime path, like this. Whichever material is loaded, that you have to select. So in this case, now in this presently, no, not necessary. Anyway, next building process. So building process, we already seen. Building parameters. Okay, now gone. So the messages you'll see, every message is seen here, like at what time you are operating, installation complete, change powder to. So all the operations whichever carried out are displayed here, and then the rest of the things are only the company people will do it. And this is actually shutdown button, and these are the items which are to be removed. So now all the items are removed, and this is actually a bin. So this is actually, there are two bins are there. Number one bin, number two bin. So first bin, suppose if you want to make it active, it will be pressed here now. Now second bin is active. So there are only two bins. From which bin you want to draw the material, that should be on. Or otherwise, if it is one empty is there, no, automatically the second one will be taken care of. So these are the bins you can show, see. So those are the two bins. Two bins. And then just opening the chamber. I'm just opening the chamber. Actually, this is a bin. So this is actually bin. This is x-axis. This is y-axis, and this is g-axis. Vertical is g-axis. So this powder is a polyamide powder, which is 60 microns size ball, and this is called a pyrometer. This is called pyrometer, and there are the pyrometer lights are they are actually used to heat powder from room temperature to the sintering temperature. Anything? So this is the back side of the machine. You can see, okay, one second. You come here and show the bins and bring that spanner. Just I am there opening the rear door of the machine. So you can see Testo pneumatic control system. And here this is a reporter hydraulic system. And these are the two bins, number one and number two. So number one, number two. So automatically the bin will shift, the automatically shift from one bin to other bin if one is empty. So now the software what we use here, third party software is Magix. So this is actually Magix. This is a part, and we can do editing here, and whichever view you want, you can see. So these are the views, and this is the bin size. So this is x-axis, this is y-axis, this is z-axis. Okay. Why it looks in? Can. So okay, this is rotate. So we can stack the materials. You can see the prosthetic hands, how we have to do that only. Prosthetic hand only better shoe. Okay, what is that? Just I am loading the file. Load the file part. I don't want to know. Okay, next. Load the file. Prosthetic hands. So that in that now we are not able to see now. We can see here. So we built separately too. Then where is that too? See, we are opening the prosthetic hands which were built recently. So these are the prosthetic hands. Here something was there, no? Not rotation, but yeah. It is taking time because the memory is it requires a lot of memory. Very big parts are there. So these are the hands and these are the palms, and both were built here. Where is that views? See, we can see different angles. We have reoriented to fit into our bin. So instead of putting straight, yeah, instead of putting straight, so if you put straight, no, our bin size is only 330 mm. So that's why we little bit tilted this, so that at a single go, we could able to build this all 4 components at a time. So this is the Magix software wherein we can put some text, annotation, stacking, all etc. This is actually the build size. So you can see the inquiry, what is the maximum height of the component. You can see Z height is, G height is 253.532 mm. X-axis is 184, Y-axis is 237, G-axis is 253. So that's why to save time in G direction as far as possible, we have to reduce the direction, the height of the component in G direction. So after this, now this will be sent to the 3D printing machine through RS-232 cable via this system to the computer, the 3D printing system. So after that, just now we have shown that how to load it. So simply, whatever the name you have given here, the same name will be appearing on the monitor LED screen. That should be uploaded into the 3D printing system. And after that, so after 1.5 hours of preheating, it starts building. Next. So Dr. Chari,
Sir. Yes, sir.
Dr. Chari.
Sir, tell me, sir.
Yeah, so we are moving to the other machine because a lot of noise will be there for show me. So we have seen the SLS
Okay, sir.
and then SLM is running. That's why a lot of noise is coming,
Okay, sir.
and maybe the participant may not hear properly.
Okay, sir.
We will explain a bit louder.
Okay, sir. No issue, sir. No issue.
So you take long shot from that. This is the SLS system. So our center is a center for prototyping and testing of industrial products. This is the model is SLM 280. SLM 280. And we have kept 3 samples here. And right now the aluminum alloy is going to be printed, and already printing started. So to coincide your demo and our requirement now, we started the building of the component in the afternoon, and now we can see for a while the printing of 3D system. Okay. These are the samples for one of the research scholars doing in 3D printing area. These samples are for universal testing machine samples. Reporting taking place. So the reporter came from back to front, and thereby one layer thickness is coated aluminum powder, and then again it is printing. Camera is in. You can also see from the monitor on the camera. So that is actually earlier I have shown from the machine. Now this is on the monitor. So it has got a built-in camera to view on the monitor attached to the system. It seems to be rough, but it all depends on camera resolution. But you can see it will go back again. So the operation is continuous. So now I will show some of the parts, and afterwards, you can see further parts. So this is actually a chiller. The chiller is used to cool the chamber. So through a coolant. This is a chiller, and then this is actually a powder sieving machine. This is a powder sieving machine, which is used to sieve the powder, the left out portion in the bin is sieved here. Next, this is a vacuum cleaner. The vacuum cleaner, which is used to clean the machine. Even suppose if you are changing from one powder to other powder, the old powder must be cleaned thoroughly. These are the filters. Filters, all this thing. And we are using the argon and nitrogen. Nitrogen is built in, but argon and 3 cylinders we have sparely, and we use for building of titanium components. So this is the rear side of the SLM machine. Rear side. Anything else? This net? Okay. So rest of the things will be explained by my research scholars individually. Wherever they are having expertise, they will explain. And I'm handing over to Mr. Pramod. Okay. Yeah, more details you can.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Pramod. I'm currently working as a technician here, and this is an overview of SLM as briefed by our Professor Sir Sriram Venkatesh sir. Which has a build chamber volume of 280 by 280 by 360, and now currently test specimens are being printed on this SLM 280. 3 of them are with different build strategies. They are getting printed. Next, about the SLM, there is a recoater here which spreads the powder all over the bed, which is a bidirectional recoater, which means it will recoat in the to and fro motion, and it will load the powder from the hopper. It's a gravity filling system, and the collected powder in the hopper will be transferred to the reloader, which then transferred to the recoater. So as you can see from this side, from the right side, there is a gas flow, inert gas flow. It will be continued until the print is done, and the spattered particles, while laser is exposure, the spattered particles were flown away by the nitrogen gas, which is about 17 meters per second. The speed is about 17 meters per second to the filters, where you can, as explained by sir, filters. These are very essential here to collect the particles which are higher in size, like above 45 microns or 50 microns powder will be collected by this, and the pure gas flow will be continuous without any particles. So these are two kind of filters, H13 and H14, where H13 have 99.97% of capturing the particles, and H14 is about 99.99%. So the process continues until the print is done. And let me talk about this gas cylinders. These are nitrogen gas, argon gas cylinders, and these are nitrogen gas. Argon is basically for the titanium alloys, which are very hard to print actually. The nitrogen for all of the materials like SS316L, ALSI10Mg, CuSN10, all other materials we can go for the nitrogen because of the materials are less reactive than the titanium. So next we will talk about the chiller. This is a chiller where in the continuous running of the machine, heat will be generated. So the heat has to be dissipated from the machine. Otherwise, the parts may be totally damaged. The parts may be damaged. It will cost us a lot to repair it. So chiller is the essential thing. And the PSM, let me talk about the PSM. This is a sieving machine where you can see it's a vibrator. It will vibrate, basically used for segregation, which means the higher size particles which are collected in the tanks, which will be segregated, and there will be a mesh.
So running also. Yeah, you can show running condition, or you can just switch on.
So you can see. So you can see it's vibrating. Those are called bellows, which are used to segregate the melted particles to the unmelted powders. So this will be helpful. And you can see, first of all, while we have to see, we need it to be oxygen percentage to be less and the nitrogen percentage to be more. It has to be in inert condition. The process should be take place in. So N2 percentage we will decrease by supplying the nitrogen externally. So the oxygen level will be automatically decreased. I will tell you about the part loading. Before that, I will explain you about the Additive Designer, which is a slicing software where we have to slice the part first. This is an Additive Designer software. So first we have to select the powder, select the material that you want to use. Here you can add your material as the machine wanted, like so ALSI10Mg, CuSN10, SS316L, we have to add it manually. The density is the main thing in this software because we need the cost estimate and we need the time estimation. So we have to add the material and density is must and should. And next we go to the machines. There are two kinds in 280 SLM 280. There is twin laser and the single laser. Presently we are using single laser, where you can change the materials that are previously stored in the materials window. So we can add the material here. Now currently I'm using ALSI10Mg, so I'm using ALSI10Mg and I'm saving it and I'm closing it. Now I will go for the twin. There are two options called twin laser and SLM 280. Now I will select the SLM 280, which is a single laser. So this is the overview of the design machine. So it's a 280 by 280 X and Y, and Z is about 360. And let me load the part. Here you can get the part. So here you can see the part, which is a specimen. Now it's a content. It's now running in the SLM machine. So I will we can rotate it, transform it, and we can scale it even here, not in just in the 3D software, 3D modeling software. We can scale it here and we can transform, we can rotate everything. So I will give a 90 in x direction. So it is now parallel to the bed. So I want this, presently it's going in parallel direction only. So parallel direction to the bed. So I am explaining you in the parallel direction. Now the part is loaded. Next, we have to get the support structures. So support structures is must and should for the metals, because of the density of the part, material, or maybe the part. So support structures is must and should. And I will build support. Overhang angle is must and should, because above 45, it's okay, fine. But below 45, the support structures has to be generated. So I will give it 45. So to know to the software, so I will give you the angle of 45 degrees. Below that 45 degrees, support structures has to be generated. That's my condition. And I'm calculating it, calculating regions, whatever, wherever the 45 degrees less than region is there, it has to produce the support structure. So I will block support. I'm giving the block support. There are different types of supports: rod, block, H cell, line, and tree. These are different kinds of support structures, which have inbuilt. You can change here the various parameters like height of that block, width, what the square shape should be, the cell, square shape of the cell. So you can define everything here as you like, but I'm using the default one. So I will click the part and I will assign to it. Maybe some technical issue with this software.
They will also show the post processing of SLS machined parts, and then SLM, how the parts are being ejected, and also cleaning process for the parts produced from selective laser sintering.
Okay, now you can see the support structures have been produced to this, and we will go for the nesting. Nesting means how many parts do you want to print? Presently, I want to print 3. So I will in the x direction I will take 3, and between parts, the distance between the parts should be, I will give let's say 15, and to the edge, which means the build platform edge, substrate plate edge. So I will take it as 30. So I will arrange this part in this. So it will be rearranged like this with the support structures as generated for the one component. It will generate to the every other parts also. And next, it depends on the so the print. Finally, it depends on the build strategy only. What the print has to be completed. If you want the print has to be completed, build parameters should be suitable for the part. Otherwise, you will get the porosity levels high or low. It depends totally. So build strategy. You will have scaling here also. The one you can get the scaling and slicing. Slicing means how which slice thickness do you want the print to be completed. So we can say 30 or 4. We can give the slice thickness here as 30, 40, 50. So next, it's a volume, which is a scanning strategy. How to scan? We have different types of scan strategies: parallel, stripes, chess pattern, and none. We can go for one of these. So presently, stripes. Presently, machine is running on stripe strategy. And next, supports. How you want to give the supports? Slice thickness. What is the slice thickness to be? of the supports. Supports don't need to be in particular in general. If we go for 30 microns layer thickness, you can give it 60 microns for the support structures, because anyway the support structures has to be a point contact with the part and the substrate plate, so that the removal may be easy. Next, about the scan strategy volume, where you can change the power, speed, and focus, everything here. So as I said earlier, that these parameters decides the part quality and everything. So now we can define power here and everything. So this is after let's say I am giving random one. I am clicking it, and I'm assigning to all. For these three, I'm assigning. So I will individually assign. So it's been assigned here. You can see build strategy P3. And for this also, you can see build strategy. So you can see all these things, the strategy, whatever the strategy that has been taken, that's been assigned to the part. Now I will calculate the SLM file, which is basically .sli.slm, which will be understood by the machine. So we'll go to desktop. I will save here as a part. Let's say I will save it here. Now it will slice. So now the slicing operation is being done. So it's showing that 434 layers here. You can see here the part is being, you can see as per the strategy, it's going in 0 degrees now. The overall build will be in the 0 degrees direction only. The laser will expose in 0 degrees. It will melt the part in 0 degrees only totally. So next, we need to calculate the time for that. So we will go for the cost estimation. It's now calculating time 5 hours 37 minutes. It may be a assumption. It may be it just shows the time of exposure time, but not the requoted delay time. It's not calculated. So let's say we will add 1 hour or 1.5 hours extra for that. So it will show how much material does it need to build the part. Part material is 84 grams, and supposed material is about 8 grams. And loss, obviously there will be loss, because the spattered particles loss maybe some of them were sucked. Some of them may be sucked in vacuum while cleaning. Some of them may be in lost in saving machine. So these are all the loss that will be calculated here. And so now the part is saved here in the .sli format, actually SLM file .sli format here. So which will be understood by the machine. Now we will take it in the pen drive, or maybe through online, like connecting to internet. And now let's go to the part loading. Now the part has to be loaded. So you can here find the file folder image where you can load the image here. So it is a new SLM.sli file here. So I loaded this part. So now it's showing a layer. You can get how many layers, parts, how many, 6. Why 6? Because it will take individually. Part as one part is a single one, and support structure is another one. So it will calculate for the, even though there are 3 parts, it's showing 6 parts. So it will calculate support structures as a separate thing. Now it's calculating the time, how much time it's required to build. As I said earlier, the shown time by the additive designer is not the original one. Calculating the recoating time, the delay time, it will estimate the time, total time of the build. Next, these are options called, this is for play, which means to start the print. This is for pause. If there is any if there is any lift kind of thing, the part is hitting the recoder, then you will pause the recoder and you search for the alternative, how to complete the print. This will be build will be totally stopped. It's for the total stop. And this is the chamber opening, how to open the chamber. Next, we go to the, we can place here also, even not in just in the designs of additive designer, we can place here also. The parts can be moved from here. So by giving translate or rotating angle, here also there is a provision for those things. And now for the build status, while running, it will show everything, current layer, build time, 6 hours, the remaining build time until how much is completed, previous exposure time, recoating time. So you can get the oxygen top, which means here you can see the 12 millibar is must and should for while the print is running. And filters, it depends on the purity. I mean, it depends on the how much particles have been congested. The filter pressure may be increased or decreased. Gas flow, now it's 17 meters per second, as I said. Gas pump pressure, power, it's running at 88% now. So oxygen top, see, while running the print, the total chamber and flow lines has to be in inert condition, which means the gas has to be pumped through all over the chamber and the flow lines. So gas top, oxygen top related to the chamber. Chamber now it's 0.00%, which means there is no oxygen. And oxygen to the flow lines. The flow lines which are being which are connected to pump, the chamber and the filters and everything. The flow line should be 0%. And next, platform heating to reduce the distortions in the part or in the sub. So to maintain the temperatures equal, I mean, to maintain the temperatures inside the chamber, platform can be preheated. Like now it's running at 150 degrees centigrade. So this is for the build chamber and optical bench. It shows everything. Optical bench is nothing but a laser, collimator, as you know, everything. Next, let's go to motor, where you can position your platform. I mean to say that to raise or lower the platform, you can give it manually here. First, actually, we need to go for the manual leveling plate, substrate plate leveling first. Next, we have to record the layer to the minimum of 20 microns. Minimum of 20 microns, we have to remove the powders on the substrate plate. There must be 20 layers of powder only, microns, sorry. Recoder, you can manually control it. Reload, as I said, loader, which from the hopper to the recoder, loader is the middle one, which supplies the powder continuously. And gas and temperature. So I need to on the pump and gas control for the continuous flow of the nitrogen gas throughout the process. And platform heating, here we have to on. Water cooling is must and should. Next setting, where you can you need to select the gas, what kind of gas you want to use, nitrogen or argon. So you have to select from here. Now I tell you the powder loading process. Here, while recoder is moving, you can see a dump kind of thing for the powders that are excess in the recoder, that will be flown from there, and it will be collected in the can. So it will be collected in the can. These are the cans which will be collected, and it has to be sieved first. So we will go into the sieving machine. The excess size particles will be segregated from sieving machine. As I shown you, from here we will put the can here, and from here it will flow. and it will vibrate. I mean, it will oscillate, not oscillate. It just vibrates, and there will be a collecting tank here. The fresh powders will be, which are about 30 to 45 microns powders will be collected here, and the remaining powders that are higher sized will be collected there. This is how we will remove this can, and we will load. We will load from the top. We will load from the top here. And, now you can see the hopper. It's a storage tank where you can store the powders which are readily sieved and poured into the storage tank. As I said, it's a reloader which have fine grooves in it, where powder will be. It's a cylindrical in shape, which have grooves like 6 grooves. The powder will be continuously flown to the reporter down, and you can see there is another can which will be collected. Back can. This is back collecting can. After that part has been printed, we will remove from the machine along with the substrate plate. We will go for the post processing. Now we will show you the post processing machine. Produced in SLM may be somewhat rough. To reduce the roughness, we will use the blasting machine. Basically, the first thing is that the particles, I mean, the support has to be removed. So for that, we will go by pliers or by a multi oscillating cutter. So it's a blasting machine where the continuous impingement of the balls, which are about 100 microns or maybe less than that, there will be a continuous impingement on the part where it removes the excess material or the excess material or like the bumps that are being produced while printing. So you can see there is a gun. From one pipe, there will be a flow of presently we have SS balls here, which are about 30 to 60 micron size of balls, which will be continuously flowed by the compressed air from this black pipe. The compressed air will be joined by the balls, and we can set the pressure here at what pressure the balls has to flow. I mean, the compressed air must be flown. Here you can set the pressure, and impingement part will be placed here, and the continuous impingement, like you can see balls here, like you can see with the compressed air, the balls will flow at a high speed, and the impingement material removal will be done. That's it. That's all for SLM, and now Suranjan will take over and he will explain about the SLS process. Hello, is it audible? Yeah, okay.
So basically, the SLS printing process starts from this machine and ends over here in this machine. So what happens here, before going for the print, we have to prepare the powder. So the powder comes in this bin. So once the powder is sieved and it is a pure form of powder, and it is mixed properly with the new powder. If suppose you want to mix it new powder with the old powder, so once you are done with the powder, we'll keep it here, and we will rotate. This machine basically rotates the bin up to a certain cycle so that it mixes the powder pretty well. So we will see that how it mixes. So like this, we have to rotate it for a particular number of cycles, like 500 cycles, or else for 1 hour. We'll leave it like this. Once the mixing is done, we will keep the powder bin aside to release the static which is created during the rotation. So we will keep the bin idle for around 1 hour or 2 hours. After that, we will take the powder to the machine. So sir is explained pretty well about the machine and the slicing section. So once the print has been done, so we will bring that removable chamber. So the chamber will be like this. Once the print is done, the part will be inside this chamber. So we will bring the complete bin to here like this. It is removable actually. We can remove it like this from the machine, and we will place it here. Yes, we'll place it here. We'll close the door. So this machine is completely operated by the pneumatic power. So here we can see there is a pedal here. So once we press it, what it does is it will push the piston. So which will push the platform above, so that the available powder here will come up, so that we can segregate those powders from the part. Suppose this is our part, we have what we have printed. So it will be submerged in the powder like this, in this form. So we cannot see the part right now. When the powder will be there all over here. So what we will do is we will press the pedal. It will come up like this. So powders will be there. We will push all the powders here so that we can get this part. Once we get it, we will remove the excess powders from here like this by using some kind of brush. We will remove all the powders. Suppose the part is very critical and some powders are there left inside which we are unable to remove, we will go for the other machine. It is similar to the sandblast pneumatic air pressure, which will remove the excess powder from the part, and we'll get the final part like this. So that's all about the SLS part. So it starts from this mixer, ends here at the post-processing unit, and we get the final part like this. Thank you. So now our PolyJet machine will be explained by our research scholar Siddharth. So he'll be explaining now. Good afternoon, everyone. Now I'm going to tell you about PolyJet machine. PolyJet machine, this is a Stratasys company's PolyJet machine. Stratasys company is a US-based company which has collaborated with Objects, and now this machine is made in Israel. So in PolyJet technology, basically we use liquid. In Stratasys, they offer customized resin only. We should use the Stratasys materials only. So we'll be having modern material and support material. In PolyJet technology, you will definitely need supports. So you'll be having a support material and model material. Model material is a like it is actual part will be printed using this material. This Stratasys PolyJet machine, which is available at CPDDM, we can only print 7 types of materials, and those materials are categorized as Vero family. As you can see here, this resin is Vero clear. In same Vero family, you are having Vero white, Vero black. So basically, using this machine, we can print only Vero family materials. So if you come to the process of Stratasys PolyJet technology, this is our workbench. Here you can see these two are nozzles, what we call nozzles, and this complete nozzle, there are small holes, like there are some number of holes which are less than our hair dia, and this is for model material and this is for support material. After model, support, followed by roller, then you are having UV light setup. So what happens here? First, material will be jetted on the platform. Resin will be jetted. You know, when material liquid is jetted, it will be in curvature form. So roller will come and flatten those curvature. So that jetted liquid, here you can see small liquid jet has taken place. So this will be flattened using roller. Then UV light will cure that resin and it will be solidified. Then this platform will go down by 1 layer. And again, this process will be repeated. Material will be jetted, roller will flatten the jetted layers, UV light will be curing that particular layer which has been jetted. So again, in liquid based materials, when we compare with powder based FDM and liquid based materials will obviously need some maintenance. We are also having DLP technology. Yesterday you have seen it, but when you compare DLP and PolyJet technology, in PolyJet you'll have more accurate fine finishing you will get, and you can go for complex structures also. But there are some limitations, like, see, you can see here, we are loading the liquid in reverse direction, and there are small needle like things you can see here, and from here liquid will be traveling through these pipes. So you can see all these pipelines, and these pipelines will be in the in backside of the machine also, and from there they are connected to these nozzles over here. So this is resin. Basically, we are using UV light to cure the resin. If you leave these pipelines for 10 days or 15 days unused, if you don't use this machine for 1 week, say 1 week, if you don't use, the material in this pipeline will be solidified. So then for that, to avoid all those problems, there will be regular maintenance procedures for this machine. So which results in some material loss also. But definitely when compared with all other 3D printers, this will be having a fine and good finishing. So now I'll tell you the software. Before that, I'll show you some parts printed using PolyJet technology. These are some fine parts. This is printed using Vero Clear, and this is Vero White. You can see it is very strong also. Like very strong particles can be printed using PolyJet technology. So this is basically the CPU of the machine. Here you can see heads temperature, support and model temperatures, vacuum pressure. Yeah, as I said, it is stored in pipelines and it is in reverse direction. The liquid will be always dropping. To hold that, there is some vacuum created so that there will be no continuous droplets will be falling. And wastage tank. As I said, there will be a regular waste material maintenance process. So in regular intervals, we will be performing some operations like flush fill, pattern test. I'll explain you what are all those things also. So here you can see material, how much material we are having. So we are having Vero Clear now loaded, and SUP 706 is the support material which we use. And here you can see execute purge sequences there. Purge sequence, in what happens in purge sequences, if at all some resin is there and it is clotting the way of the it is clotting the pipelines, if you execute this purge sequence at high speed, material will be flushed out. It will jet the liquid out, and if at all there are some clottings, it will be coming out, and it will be sent to the waste tank. To see whether purge sequence is successfully done or not, you will be performing pattern test. Pattern test is where you place a paper on workbench. You have seen the workbench in the machine right now. So what we'll do is we'll just place a paper here. We'll stick it manually and we'll execute this purge sequence. In purge sequence, when we run the purge sequence, this so-called setup, it will jet the liquid. See, similar to these lines. It will jet. If there is gap between one line to the other one, then there is some problem with the nozzle. So again, you have to run this purge sequence. But for many times, you can't keep on running this purge sequence and pattern test. So there are some wizards again here, like head alignments, head cleaning. Head cleaning is at regular intervals. If before giving print, after print, you will just clean the heads manually. Head optimizations, load cell calibrations, those are all maintenance related things. Material flush will, if you go for this wizard, what will happen is at high pressure for n number of cycles, material will be continuously, say for half an hour or 15 minutes, material will be continuously flushing and filling the new material so that the channels will be cleared. If you want to replace the material also, you have to remove the complete resin which is in the pipelines, and you will perform this material flush fill after performing material replace. You can calibrate UV light. UV light calibration, if it will show you whether the UV light which is in this machine is perfectly good or good in condition or not. Wiper cleaning. Okay, then. Now when you go for print, after say if the particle is around 100 layers, after every 5 layers or 10 layers, here there will be a wiper inside this that will be cleaning these nozzles, so that if some nozzles are idle, then this nozzle will clean the that complete heads, and the clotted thing will be removed. So we should even clean this nozzle at regular intervals also. So this is the Object Studio software. Like, you know, slicing, it is basically a slicing software where you can load an part here, insert a particle here. Let us select bottle. So this bottle is loaded. Basically, in this Object Studio in PolyJet technology, there are some limitations. You can't use as it is not as friendly as Cura. Like here, you can go for placement. It will be placing this particle like product default in one place. Validate is where design validation will take place. If there are some design errors, it will show in this validate. Estimate is a cost estimation, like time, material, how much support material it is using, how much model material it is using. We can see here when you perform this estimate operation, then these are various views. So as I said, there are only Vero family materials which we can use here. These are some Vero family materials: Vero blue, Vero clear, Vero green, Vero white. You can do high quality or less quality, glossy, matte. Only those kind of settings you can do here in this particular software. Once you perform all those things and you place it properly, you can scale down it, you can scale up it, transform it from here and there. You can place it different places. After see here, you can see it is X, Y, Z. Now it is in mm. After doing all these operations, and if you perform this estimation, then you will press on build. Once you go for build, it will be loaded in this job manager chat, where you will see how much time it is going to take, and the part will be readily loaded, but it will not be given to the printer. If you press on this, it will be going online, and that part will be loaded onto this remote desktop, which is in the system. Then you can see print start and which layer it is printing on, all those things you can see here in this setting. Today we have covered you about PolyJet, SLM and SLS, which are available in our lab. So if you are having any doubts now, we can go for question answering session.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Siddharth, and your team. So any questions from the audience, you can directly ask to the scholars, otherwise Professor Sriram Venkatesh sir. So any questions?
Hello?
Yeah.
So I am Christopher. So just for the scholars, so I want to know the project code. Suppose if I want to fabricate for students, so in order to know the details, whom we need to contact, the cost details for fabricating using 3D printer.
Sir, we'll send you the mail ID now. In the chat, we'll send you the mail ID. You can just send all your details, like what part you want to print, STL formats you can send, and our director sir will take the decisions. I'm just sending you the mail in the chat, sir.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Any questions? Any questions from the participant side? Please raise your question. You can ask directly to the scholars.
No, sir. In the PolyJet machine which we are having in our lab, we can't go for multi-colors or multi-materials at one print. We can use only one material and one color at once. Even now we are having only Vero family material, and in Vero family we are having only Vero white, Vero clear available in our lab right now. We can't go for multi-colors in the machine which is available in our lab.
Thank you. Sir, any doubts, any query from your participant side, you can directly ask to the scholars, the team of the Osmania University. Otherwise, you can raise your question in the chat box also. Sir, there is one question in chat box, please.
Sir, it is related to, it is comparison between binder jetting and SLA.
How was the quality and strength of material compared to the binder jet and SLA? He's asking, sir.
Sir, in binder jetting, basically we'll be having some powder and a binder material. And in SLA, you will directly use a liquid. When you compare, it depends upon the particles. Basically, we can't compare those two because it is, one is completely liquid based and one is powder related technology. We can compare like binder jetting and SLS. But if you say about strength and quality, no sir, I am not having idea right now. SLA is liquid based and binder jet, you will be using a liquid binder and a powder particles you will be using.
So I think the binder jetting is most compared to the SLA, sir, because SLA is the photopolymerization materials.
Yes, sir.
I think binder jetting is good compared to SLA.
Yes, sir.
Any questions? Please raise your question in the chat box. Otherwise, you can ask directly to the team of the Osmania University scholars.
Sir, build volume of?
Sir, build volume of which machine, sir? Ven Kumar, sir? PolyJet. They are asking about the PolyJet, sir.
It is 300, 200 by 150, sir. 300 mm, 200 mm by 150 mm.
It is in X and Y and Z axis, I think.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Thank you, Venkumar sir. Next, anyone? Any questions from the participants? You can raise your questions in the chat box. Otherwise, you can directly talk to the Usman University Scholars team. Any questions? Please raise your questions. I thank you to Usman University team to presenting a wonderful session on the demo on the SLM machine, as well as PolyJet machine, as well as in the SLS machine. I'm thanking you to all. Thanking you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So, sir is there, yeah?
No, sir. No. Sir is in meeting.
Okay, no issue, no issue. You can log out now, no issue. Okay, the session is over.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Thanks for your cooperation. Thank you.
Chair, is there any announcement?
Yeah, I'm sending the one feedback form now, yeah. And second thing, okay, tomorrow, okay, we are having regular 3 sessions, and afternoon session we are having the biology session after 3:30. Please, all of you attend the sessions because maybe you are busy, but please try to attend all the sessions tomorrow also. Your support is required to conduct our workshop. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Stephen, sir. Thank you. Okay, tomorrow you are having the 3 sessions. The morning session is going to speaking by Dr. Shivaramakrishna about the innovation things in 3D printing. The second session going to speak by Deepa Srinivasan. Okay, she is a chief engineer, and she is going to deliver about the repairing of the gas turbines. And third one, the third session is 3D printing application in the aerospace. That is going to deliver by Dr. Anil Kumar sir. He is a scientist in ISRO. Please attend all the sessions tomorrow also. Your presence is required to conduct our FDP smooth FDP. And okay, who is any questions you can ask directly to me. Otherwise, after filling your feedback form, you can leave from this Zoom meeting. Shall I close the session? So SLS machine is taking the more time, sir, because in the SLS we are going to print 0.1 mm thickness. So the slice thickness is decreases automatically. The time of the processing is going to increase. Okay, this is asking by Sarvesh. Is it clear, Sarvesh?